lurks within them. But let's take a travel down the blind side and see what we find down this called Stranded on Death Row.
Well, stranded on death row for real, because there's a plan in the works for Gavin Newsom wants to transform San Quentin as the California, this article says, as the California prison population shrinks. Well, it's not like people have stopped doing crime. Matter of fact, there's a lot more crime going on. It's just they're not arresting people, and that's this whole trick that they're doing, that the Democrats and the abolitionists, they call themselves the abolitionists, the prison abolitionists, and they're really just people who are really naive and never done time. Really, if you every abolitionist out there, ask them if they've been to prison. They have not.
That because I did not want to give the prison officials the satisfaction.
Crossing with.
According to an unclassified summary of the March Intelligence Assessment, the two most lethal elements of the domestic violence extremist threat are racially.
But they key in a locker, so.
And they don't even go visit these people. And even if they do, they're not in there with these people. They don't know what it's actually like. That's the part that's just disturbing for me, because I used to have these like rose-colored glasses that were, oh yeah, you just let anybody out of prison. Or at least a very naive is really the only word for it. But either way, so they got this plan in the works to turn San Quentin into a rehab. And let me just tell you something about San Quentin. San Quentin is one of these places that you call it behind the wall. And there was a video I did a while ago. This guy was on Joe Rogan. He was talking out of his ass about prison. And one of the things I mentioned in the comments to people, like I wrote comments back to people, I deleted the video now, is that he wasn't behind the wall in this prison. When you go to receiving, you go to it in a maximum security prison. They're all located in maximum security prison because receiving has to take everybody. So I went to Stateville, right? Stateville is like where they executed John Wayne Gacy. It's a it's a pretty gnarly prison. I wasn't in that prison. I was in the receiving section. So it would be dishonest of me to say, oh yeah, check nuts, I did time at Stateville. I only say is this wall right here on this, and you can see this picture in front of you with this guy walking across. Is a pair of correctional officers walk through the exercise yard at San Quentin State Prison in San Quentin, California. That right there, that wall back there, it's a formidable piece right there. But what it is it's a parapet that's like literally, that's probably about 25 feet tall. The one at Stateville is like literally 40 feet tall. If you look, typically they have like this is Pontiac right here. This is another maximum security prison in Illinois, and this is the Stateville place they're talking about. And the receiving center is this area back there. Boop. This is the wall I'm talking about. This is a huge ass wall. This prison, they're not making any more San Quentins. They're just not. And they're not making any more Statevilles or anything like that. And there isn't any bed space for inmates to, like maximum security prisons. If you're going to a maximum security prison, you could wait 8 or 9 months in receiving, just get into a maximum security prison, because they don't have any fucking bed space anywhere in any of these places. Because what has to happen for a bed to open up in a jail? Just to either die or they got to move on. And if you have 40 years to do, you're not moving on to shit. So you got this is where I did time. I just want these pictures of what that looks like. And yeah, so this is just look at the news and think, oh yeah, are things getting less dangerous? Are less people doing crimes? And Gavin Newsom, Mr. Knockoff Patrick Bateman, he is doing this unilaterally. He stopped all executions in 2019, put a moratorium on them. And he didn't know if he really had the political will to, because he was elected in 2018. So basically, right away when he got into office, he's decided, I'm not going to execute anybody. That's really, he has the power to pardon people, and he has the power to, execute people or not execute people. But his job that he was sent to the state, that he runs the state of California from Sacramento or from wherever the hell his wonderful house is. His job is to do everything that the job entails. And unfortunately, I know it's not a warm and cuddly feeling thing to do, but this is part of it. And you look at the amount of executions California has had. This is every year going back to 1893. They used to do 17 in 1930s, 13, 7, and up until 1972, which is when it was actually 1970 maybe, but the state of California had this decision handed down in the People versus Anderson. And what it said was that the death penalty was both cruel and unusual. The way they were reading the Constitution was it would be cruel or unusual. Odd, like small, just thing of diction, but the whole net effect of it was that it stopped executions for a little while. And California voters put it to a vote. They were pissed off about this at the time. In 1972, they put it to a vote and brought back the death penalty. You know what the vote was, or what the percentages were? 2/3 of the goddamn state said no, we want death row. California might seem like a really liberal and progressive place. In a lot of ways it is. But if you're talking about people who have murdered and R-worded and done horrible things to people, and you're just going to feel compassion, or the other part of it is a jury has decided in these cases that this is what's to be done, that somebody has to die. And to just unilaterally just say, no, we're not going to let that happen. That's bullshit, man. That's bullshit. They shouldn't. And this is something that, mind you, the Democrats, and I was a lifelong Democrat voter. This isn't a political channel. I'm not trying to get political with it, but this is part of what they've been doing. This is their platform, and it's based off of race. That's what it's based off of. It's basically that the prisons are racist, and therefore we just basically can't punish anybody. No, it's just that black people commit a lot of crime, and it's a fucking sociological nightmare. You can look into how it's happening. You could probably fix it. They don't want to fix it. The politicians, the Gavin Newsoms of the world, they don't want to fix why so many black people are going to fucking prison, because it's a difficult thing to do politically, to basically, kind of like crack the disciplinary whip on teachers, on the prison to school, or the school to prison pipeline, all this stuff. They don't want to have anything to do with it. And so they'd rather just do the cuddly, happy-go-lucky thing because Gavin Newsom has a super majority, and just say, oh no, we're just not going to execute anybody. We're going to turn it into a goddamn Scandanavian rehab. And look at so I just want to show you this real quick. This is the condemned inmates list. And this is the received date. You'd think, okay, because I'm going to show you in this article, or that Gavin Newsom, he just has decided that he's going to disassemble death row and send prisoners to other facilities, because he can't commute really. I don't think he can commute prison sentences from death row, because the sentencing judge can come back in, or a judge from that county, and give them death row again. So, but look at this, 2023. This Samuel guy, he's down here 3 times. Yeah, there's a lot of recent dates in this pile. And there's also a lot of dates. I'm going to do a video on the guys who were executed, because there's 13 guys who were executed, including Tukey Williams, which I'll do a little spot on him. 2015s. There's a lot of recent ones. They're still sending people to death row. It's part of his goddamn job. He should be doing it, but he's not. And it's just, dude, I've been to prison. I spent nearly 4 years of my life, and in different security. I'm telling you, it's a very naive thing to think, oh, these people are just, hey man, if you just let them out of jail and everybody be all right, man, it's gonna be okay. No, it's not. These motherfuckers are dangerous, dude. Especially after you kept them cooped up in a motherfucking cell. Part of it is institutionalization, and like a lot of that. It's a bummer that people go to prison, and this is about the whole population writ large, that prison can make you a worse person. It's part of the beast. I think, honestly, that, and here's the thing that bothers me about this so much, and now I'll just leave it be. He isn't trying to help out the average guy in prison. Guys like me, but don't think of me as your paradigm of who this is. 60% of guys in prison could be let out of prison and could get back their life and shouldn't have even gone to prison in the first place. And you could send them to community corrections, right? The reason why they don't do that is because the prisons give jobs to these areas of the states that they sent all the jobs away. That's why they won't actually, like, literally they could get rid of, Gavin Newsom, if he was really about, instead of picking out this unilateral feel good little project he's got, he could really get rid of half the prisons in the state. But what economically would happen to a lot of these, cities, like, literally, if you go up and down the state of California and look at where there are prisons, you'll find that there used to be a military base there, or there used to be a manufacturing center, and they're gone. And they sent them to fucking China. And when did that start happening? Well, it's the whole neoliberal world order that we have, globalization. Since literally the 80s, and it accelerated in the 90s with NAFTA, and with Obama and Bush, it just blew up. All types of jobs got sent away. It wasn't like that. There were actually jobs in this country that people who weren't the smartest fucking people in the world, men and women, could have jobs in rural America or urban America. All these streets, black people that Gavin Newsom cares about so much. There used to be jobs in these communities, and they fucking sent them to China. And now the AI is just going to accelerate it. Basically the future that we have to look forward to as a country is they're going to let a bunch of drugs into this country, and people are either going to die or they're going to kill each other. Something's horrible is going to happen, and the prison system is just going to grow. But like I said, instead of getting rid of all these prisons and just saying, hey, we can let all these guys go and put them in community corrections, which is basically like a halfway house, and basically you could work, you could go to school, you could be stacking up money, and you're still basically kind of locked up. You literally have to sleep in a place, and but you get to go to work. No, they're not trying to do any of that shit. They want to make San Quentin and act like it. Literally, in this article, he says, or they say, says Governor Gavin Newsom said that the state will spend $20 million to begin the reorganization of San Quentin State Prison from an institution that houses 3,300 incarcerated people at a high-security site on the San Francisco Bay to a center for innovation focused on education, rehabilitation, and breaking cycles of crime. And it says what that ends up looking like remains for now unclear. And it basically says that they're just going to ship people out. San Quentin is known as the home of California's death row, although the state has not executed an inmate since 2006. And that was when they began this whole, they were saying that the drug that they were using was unavailable. And it was literally like a 4-stage thing. It had basically a poison, a tranquilizer, and a like an opioid type painkiller. And I think you could really just shoot them up with fentanyl and call it good. Just turn off the lights and, you know, let them guppy for half an hour, and that's it. And you know, and really the thing about it is these people did something horrible to somebody. They should be executed medieval style if there were actual justice, and we were actually able as a society to confront what this all is. And because as a country, when like John Dillinger was shot, they dragged that motherfucker up and down the block in a wheelbarrow, dude. And people came out and looked at him and, you know, got to see that's what happens when you kill people. And it's what it is. And you know, we need to start having some sack. And it bothers the piss out of me. But, yeah, so that's all I got on this. And I'm going to be doing a whole lot more videos. You know, Gavin Newsom, if I were in California, get the fuck out now. Well, you still can. I shouldn't curse, sorry. Yeah, it's wrong of me to say the F word. It sounds silly and stupid, but either way, yeah. San Quentin, there's a reason why they have it. There's a reason why they put people behind the wall, and it's a part of our history, and it's a part of our future. And if they really wanted to change prison, if they really wanted to help black people, if they really wanted to do any of this shit, they could do it tomorrow. But they won't. They won't. Because they don't have the political schnuts. They don't have them. So, all right. Peace out.